Hey, Jerry Gionis here. I'm really excited to be photographing in New York. I love this place. In fact, Erica, a friend of mine, basically asked me, how many times have you been here? And I said, I don't know, it's got to be 50 times. I was potentially going to live here, but I'm like, I'm going to reserve this place to visit and enjoy and inhale the atmosphere, which is quite intoxicating. We're going to go out and photograph and all in and around the streets, and who knows where this course is going to take us. But as we're leaving the hotel room, I'm thinking, well, if you know me, I like to make it difficult for myself. And we are photographing Mikhail, who is an absolutely gorgeous model, beautiful inside and out, great energy. And the first time I met her, I'm like, I have to photograph you again. I used her at a workshop, and here we are in New York. And we're going to have some fun playing in and around the city and end up culminating in Times Square doing some really killer shots. Now, I want to explain to you what this course is all about. You may have experienced a series of mine that I've been releasing over many, many months. And if you've been learning from me over the years, the past 24, 25 years, you know that I like to make something out of nothing. Now, when I say that, I mean the environment, of course, like looking at things and noticing things that people don't see and bringing out the best in it. Now, certainly, we have a gorgeous model. It does take someone like me to bring out the best in her. And the idea is that we look at our location, look at our environment, and realize what we call the creative triggers. Creative triggers are like, well, that gives me an idea. That's the birth of an idea. What if we were to do that? What if we explored that? Now, in a place like New York that's just so beautiful and so versatile, it may just be too difficult. It's like you're walking into the Cheesecake Factory and not knowing what to order because there's so many options. And as I've always said, like, creatives aren't short of ideas, the challenge is committing to one. So we are going to commit to several ideas. And if I believe that when I'm starting to photograph, and if I believe that the end result is not that worth it, I'll just say, shake it up. Guys, not feeling it. Let's do something somewhere else. But what I want to do at the start of this course is just establish some technical stuff so you don't have to think about that too much and ask those questions to yourself and wonder about the whole process. So right now, like, what tools am I going to be using? What camera am I going to be photographing with, and so on? Well, I'm a Nikon ambassador, so it's no surprise that I'll be using a Nikon camera. This is going to be a Nikon Z8. I'm actually got a cage right around this particular camera. And why am I using a cage? Often filmmakers will use a cage, but in this case, I'm just doing it to hold a DJI transmitter. So this is going to transmit my feed via HDMI cord. So when I put my eye to the viewfinder, it's going to go to a receiver, and that's going to be plugged into an Atomos Ninja 5 Plus, and it would record what we affectionately known around here as Jerry Vision. Basically, I'm recording my EVF. Then, because we're sort of running and gunning, the cameras that are on us right now, it's a DJI Osmo 3 that's literally recording my face right now, and then this will be over my shoulder. So where applicable, we will jump from talking head to over the shoulder to Jerry Vision so you guys can get the great learning experience. So this really is about just doing some cool shots and using the environment and using supplementary lighting if we need it. So what will I be using? Well, there's a few things. So right now, illuminating me is my very own ice light. So the ice light, this cylindrical light source, kind of looks like a lightsaber, is my invention. It was a first of its kind, and I proudly say it's still the best, depending on what time and year that you're watching this or not. But this just got released in 2025. And I'm very, very proud of it. There's a bicolor mode, so warm to white, and there's RGB, any color of the rainbow. And right now it's basically exposed. We don't have the barn doors on there, but you'll see me use this continuous LED light source that I can dim up and dim down. And people ask me, well, when do I use continuous light? When do I use speed light? When do I use reflectors and so on? Quite simply, if I need, I use the light that is necessary for the job that I'm doing. I know that's a broad answer, but let me explain it a little bit more. Usually, most of the time, if I don't have the light that's around me that I need, I will use a continuous light. It's very easy. You can see what you're doing. It's predictable. It's great. So I'm using my continuous light, my Ice Light 3. If I need more light, I'll use a speed light. Now, what I'm going to be using today is a Profoto A10, and that basically is a little speed light. It magnetizes to this particular softbox, the click system, and it works out really well. Something that's quite easy to move around with. So that's pretty cool. Also, I'll be using a couple of reflectors. These are two reflectors. This one is my invention. This is called the Omega reflector. and it's very cool. I'm very, very proud of this. The Mega Reflector, the world's first 15-in-1 reflector. Now, how is it different to every 5-in-1 reflector ever made? Well, it has a hole in it. Now, I know it sounds quite elementary or pedestrian, but if the hole in the donut, so to speak, is a mini reflector, then the mini reflectors can be used independent of the main unit. If you want to illuminate a face, not the body, you've got it. If you want to illuminate some detail shots, you've got it. And also you can use it as a normal 5-in-1. Velcro the mini reflectors on the main unit and you've got it. The main USP of this, unique selling proposition of this, is the fact is one light source behind the subject. Let's say the sun was hitting the back of me, and then you have the subject, then you have the Omega reflector with the shoot through, and then the camera faces the model, the subject. Well, now one light source behind the subject gives you hair light, backlight, edge light, hits the front of the reflector, goes back on the person, and now we have this incredible look and feel, this luxury of a beauty dish and the catch lights of a ring light. So we'll use this later on. It's a bit of a murky day. We might get some sun. We'll see how we go. We can use it in tandem with the flash. I'm not too sure. Then we've got a 5-in-1 reflector. The only different thing about this is when I designed it is the fact is when it's collapsed, it fits perfectly into a computer-sized bag. So if you need a quick use of a reflector, you can do that. And then also the opposing sides that you use most often, which is the silver side and the white side, they are opposing. Usually it's gold and silver on the opposing, and then you've got black and then you've got white. Most people who photograph know that you're going to use the white and the silver most of the time. So I just inversed it and it works really, really well. So Nikon Z8 I'm using. I'm going to start off with the 85mm f1.2. To reiterate, Ninja 5 Plus. I've got a DJI transmitter receiver. I've got a DJI Osmo filming behind the scenes, talking head and over the shoulder. I've got an Icelite 3, Profoto A10, and I've got the Omega reflectors. Now, if you know me though, I've got all this gear. We're going to lug it all around New York. I might not use anything but one lens and one camera and no lighting for half the day. Or if I need it, I'll use it. So I don't really geek out about the gear. I geek out about the person that I'm photographing, which in this case is Mikal. She's infectious. She's got a gorgeous smile. She's very versatile. She can look edgy. She can look joyful. So we're going to explore those options, but we're going to allow the environment to tell us what to do. And that's the idea of the creative license that we're doing right now. It is looking at the environment, seeing what's around us and saying, well, that's giving me this idea. The difference between me and maybe less experienced photographers is that I just trust my gut more. So I always say that creatives aren't short of ideas, the challenge is committing to one. So I'm just going to commit to ideas all day. And you're the beneficiary of my creative process. I'm going to think out loud as I'm talking. Think out loud as I'm thinking, you know, like everything that I'm going into my brain, so you can be privy to the creative process. And then if I've nailed the shot, I've nailed it, you know, and I keep on moving forward. So the idea is that you can watch this course, have a little bit of fun, and perhaps use these tips and tricks and tools and go out, get your own model or a friend or a cousin or a neighbor and go out and try this. So join me for the ride in New York. We're going to have lots of fun, but we're going to start in a very ordinary hotel room. It's great, it's 4 walls, it is what it is, but we'll see what we can create right here. So let's start off on a good note. Hey, Jerry Gionis here. I'm really excited to be photographing